What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. So, today we're going to be talking about five things that I wish I knew when I first started lifting. And let me tell you, man, it's honestly, I could do 10 or maybe 15 things I wish I knew because there's so many things that I wish I knew. Since I've been lifting, I've made a ton of mistakes, but I've learned a lot in this process, and that's what really this journey is all about. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to fall off, but you learn from those things. So, a little backstory first. I've been lifting since about 2013. A lot of those years, I feel like I really didn't have a good idea of what I was doing, but that's when I really started. My fitness journey and working out was once I got into the military, and I honestly just started working out because I wanted to be able to keep up. In the military, you have to work out. So I was suffering from those workouts. I was freaking dying. So I was saying to myself outside of work, I got to start working out and getting in shape if I want to keep up. So that's pretty much how it started. But just keep in mind during this whole journey from 2013 to now, I've definitely had times where I stopped working out or I got injured and things like that. But enough of that. Let's get straight into it. So the first thing I want to talk about, the first thing I wish I knew is nutrition is king. Nutrition is everything when it comes to training and working out. So when I first started working out, just like a bunch of people, it's very exciting. You really just focus on the weights. A lot of us getting into fitness, we don't know a lot. So that's like the main thing that we usually just focus on is the weight training. So what I did in those beginning stages was I was pretty much eating anything, and I was young. So I was still able to make progress, especially if you when you first start working out, you're going to make those newbie gains. Even if your diet isn't on point, there's going to be a period where you're just going to be able to put on muscle if you're working out. But I was pretty much eating anything. But one thing I was really doing was I was not eating enough. Just thinking back on the type of stuff I ate, I did not eat enough food. And if you're weight training, you definitely have to be eating a good amount and also like a good amount of protein if you want to build muscle and get results. But over time, I started to do research, I started to learn more, and I really got into bodybuilding. And this is when I started to learn about nutrition. This is when I started to eat the proper foods and things like that. Now, this is when I feel like my body really started to take off and I really started to put on a good amount of muscle because I understood, the nutrition side of working out. I understood that I had to get a good amount of protein in. I understood what carbs did, fats did. So pretty much as you can see, nutrition is very important. I would tell anybody who's just starting out in their fitness journey and working out to really learn about the nutrition side of things. This is the thing that is really going to take your body to the next level and get you the best results. And I also wanted to add, especially if you are a smaller frame type person, before I started lifting, I was around the 150, 160 mark. I think I was in the low 150s, but I considered myself a hard gainer. And for me to gain weight and put on a good amount of muscle, I had to eat a bunch. And like I mentioned earlier, got something in my eye. I was severely under eating. And I remember during those beginning stages, I used to wonder, like, why can I not gain weight? Like I was putting on a little bit of muscle, I was looking cut, but I couldn't really just build mass. And the reason why is because I wasn't eating enough. So if you are a hard gainer, if you are a naturally skinny person, you're going to have to eat a lot of calories if you really want to grow. All right, so moving on to the second thing I wish I knew, and that is recovery is so important. Now, this is something that I definitely didn't take serious and I paid the price for it. Recovery is one of those things. If you're not properly recovering, you're going to pay the price for it. You're probably going to injure yourself. You're going to burn out. You're going to mess up your nervous system because you're just putting too much stress on your body. You're probably training a whole bunch and then you're under eating, you're not taking enough rest days and things like that. And that can really affect your body in a negative way. I remember when I was young, I had that attitude of just going 100 miles per hour, just going hard all the time. And because of this mindset, I didn't really believe in off days. I didn't really believe in recovery. I just thought the more that I did, the more results I would see. And let me tell you, that is not true because once I learned about recovery and I started to take a step back, I started to train a little bit less, focus more on my nutrition, just proper recovery, even getting a good amount of sleep. And that's one thing that really just changed the game for me. I remember is when I started to sleep more, I made crazy gains. When the nutrition was on point and I started to sleep more and I wasn't under eating, the gains I made was crazy. So to sum up recovery, as you can see, this is very important. So take your rest days. Don't have this mindset of I have to do more, more, more. It's just going to stress your body out, and you're going to struggle to make the progress that you're looking for. Take your rest days, get enough sleep. This is very, very important. I would tell you to try to get 8 hours of sleep every single day if you can. If you can get a little bit more than that, that's even better. I had a point to where I wasn't really doing too much. I didn't have a lot going on, so I was sleeping a bunch because I was super serious about, transforming my body. I remember sleeping some days maybe around like 10 hours and things like that, and that's when I made a crazy amount of progress. So sleep is very important, and also something else I overlooked is deload weeks. So what deload weeks are is pretty much where you have a week where you're not pressing heavy weight. You're pretty much going to cut back on the amount of weight that you're using. So for example, let's say you're benching 225 for that deload week, you're probably going to be hitting like 135 or something like that. So you pretty much cut back on your weight, and this is going to allow your body to recover. And also your nervous system, give your nervous system a break because, like I said, training, especially if you're training intense, this is very stressful on the body, your nervous system, things like that. So implementing something like a deload week can kind of give your body a break and just help you recover better. All right, guys. So the third thing I wish I knew is I wish I knew more about progressive overload. Now, for those of you who don't know what progressive overload is, in simple terms, this is pretty much progressing the longer that you work out. So progressing in weights, progressing in the sets that you do. So you're challenging yourself over time consistently. And this is how you build muscle and keep making progress. So when I first started lifting, I really didn't understand this concept because I was new to it. And I just kind of got in the gym. I did whatever I wanted to do. I wasn't really focused too much on, my strength and constantly progressing. I was just kind of in there doing whatever pretty much. I also remember a point to where I was doing a bunch of high reps. That was the thing that I kind of learned once I started doing research. And I seen some people on Instagram just talking about high reps and focusing on the pump. So there was a period to where I didn't really focus on progressive overload too much and trying to build my strength. And I do think if you are natural and you're trying to change your body, transform your body, you do have to focus on your strength. You do have to focus on getting stronger on your lifts and progressing over time. So, pretty much with this, just make sure that you're consistently challenging yourself in the gym and you're not just going to the gym and just kind of going through the motions and doing the same things. Because if you do that, then you're not going to make progress. For your body to grow, you have to challenge your body. You have to give your body a reason to grow. And you can do that with progressive overload. And another point I want to add on to this kind of just popped in my head, but progress slowly with your lifts. This is a huge mistake that I made. I progressed too fast in a lot of things. And from this, I suffered a lot of injuries and I hurt myself. So I think that's something that isn't talked about enough with progressive overload. It's not about making crazy jumps in weights, crazy jumps in the number of reps and sets you do. It's about slowly progressing over time. It's something that you have to be patient with and just slowly challenge yourself. Maybe that's just adding one rep, or maybe that's just adding 5 pounds to the lift that you're doing. So you want to do it in small increments. To me, this is really just going to keep you safe and you're going to be less prone to hurting yourself. Because I feel like if you progress too fast, you can hurt yourself pretty bad. All right, so the fourth thing I wish I knew when I first started lifting is you don't have to do specific exercises. So with this one, there's pretty much a lot of talk about certain exercises, and something that I used to see and believe is that you had to do certain things. For example, like the big three, you hear that talked about a lot. If you're on Instagram, you've done your research, you got deadlifts, squats, and bench press. And when I first started, these are things that I felt like I had to do. Like I said, I didn't know any better. I seen people talking about these things, so I felt like to build my chest, I had to do bench press. To build my legs, I had to do squats. Right? To build a big back, I had to do deadlifts. But let me tell you right now, that is not true. Something I've learned is that certain exercises just don't fit certain people. Certain people just can't do certain exercises, and that is perfectly fine. Maybe these exercises feel weird. Maybe they give you some kind of pain, which is something that I experienced. I would do certain things and they would give me pain, but being young and stupid, I would still do these exercises. Just keep in mind that there's an alternative exercise to everything. You don't have to do squats to build your legs. There's different things you could do. Leg extensions. You could do hack squats. You can do lunges, right? To build your chest, you could do chest press machines. You could do cable flies, different things like that. I'm pretty sure at this point y'all get what I'm trying to say, but you don't have to do certain things. You don't have to stick to certain exercises. You can make progress and get good results from doing, maybe different exercises than maybe a fitness influencer or somebody online tells you to do. All right. And the fifth thing I wish I knew, and this is probably the most important, so really pay attention, and that is weight training can mess up your body if you don't know what you're doing. Working out is something that you definitely have to take serious, and it's something that you have to be try your best to be safe when you're doing it. And when I started, that's something that I didn't really it wasn't something that I was thinking about, right? I wasn't thinking about like long term and when I get older, I was doing certain exercises that gave me pain, pushing through injuries, just going 100% and just being stupid. So don't be stupid like me, take this stuff serious. Think about the future, right? Weightlifting is something that you can hurt yourself real bad, and this can mess you up in the future if you're not smart, if you're not using proper form, if you're not recovering properly. So all these things are very important. So don't be like me, take this stuff serious. I've had big injuries, where I've been at the gym for 6 months, right? I have things that I deal with now because I was being stupid in the past, progressing too fast, not using proper form, my shoulders hurt sometimes, my lower back. Something you want to always keep in mind is proper form. Form is everything. This is going to minimize your chances of getting seriously hurt. So always keep that in mind. Don't ego lift. That's another thing. Do not ego lift. You're just going to hurt yourself. It's going to set you back. So form is everything. Always focus on execution and form and progressing slowly. If you have anything you want to share about what you wish you knew when you first started working out, or just anything that you want to share, you can leave a comment down below. But if you enjoyed this video, drop a like. It really helps the channel. Subscribe for more fitness content. I'll see you on my next video. Peace.